We'll start with the prayers. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranashchakshushrotramatho Valamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Vupunoshidam Maham Brahma Nirakuriyam Mama Brahma Nirakarot Aniracharanamasva niracharaname astu tadatmani nirate ye upanishatsu dharmaste mai santu te mai santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Keno Upanishad, a very beautiful Upanishad, a direct Upanishad, one of the simplest Upanishad, but with very deep meaning in it. It's got a very few verses. Unlike Brihadaranyaka Upanishad or Chandogya Upanishad, this text is a small text. And the first 3-4 mantras of this Upanishad are absolutely revealing by itself. And if you are able to follow the question and answer of the student and the teacher, and then do the third verse, which we are going to do today, you will get a direct realization of the truth. It's a very beautiful mantra, and the way the construction of this Upanishad is, it's very, very technical in nature. Shankaracharya dwells on the technical aspects of this Upanishad. And why do we need the technical side? And what do you mean by technical side? See, in engineering, you have terms and used in mechanical engineering and computer engineering and so on. Or even in the field of medicine. Any field of science has got its technical terms. And those terms mean something very, very unique to that particular science. So similarly, we should pick up some technical terms when we study the Upanishads. Today, we are going to discuss some of them. I will let you know. But those details of the technical terms are extremely important for you to understand the Upanishad, the meaning of the Upanishads. When you study the Bhashya, that means you study just the meaning of the verses by itself, your intellect will not be able to go deep into the meaning of the words. It will understand a cursory meaning, a superficial meaning. But the intellect, in order for it to go deeper into the meaning of those words, you have to take the help of a bhashyam. Bhashyam is a commentary written by a very renowned acharya, a teacher. So bhashyams are extremely useful to reveal the nature of the words and their deep meanings. I am going to do just a superficial study of Keno Upanishad now, but somewhere I will introduce the deeper meanings. Like in today's talk, I'm going to introduce some of the deeper meanings which is given out by Shankaracharya in his commentary. Now, we have seen the first two verses of this Upanishad. And the first two verses of this Upanishad are extremely important. I will repeat, I don't have a problem repeating it again and again because they are extremely important. Each and every student of Vedanta should know the question, at the same time should know the answer to this question. The entire Vedanta is is embedded in these three verses. The first three verses of Keno Upanishad, you can get the whole essence of the whole Upanishadic literature. Let us see how. First verse is a question. It is a question by a student. It is not a casual student. I'm repeating it purposefully because this is an extremely important verse. I'm repeating it so that you can pick up the question, dwell on the question during this talk, and also when you are away from this talk and you want to contemplate on Vedanta. See, sometimes you may find that when you go for a small walk, a 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk, so you may not know what to think about. So you can tell yourself, let me think about Vedanta. What did I study last week? Let me just dwell on it. All other thoughts, you try to put it away. As and when you are walking alone, put those thoughts away and dwell on what, just try to recollect what you have learned in the previous class. Even if you recollect 5% of what you have heard in a 1-hour talk or 2-hour talk, 1.5 hours talk, that 5% is enough. So the first question is, Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha. What is the force? What is the power behind the mind? Many people would not even have thought about it, but our rishis have thought about in a very deep manner. So the question number one is, what is the power behind the mind which it visualizes different objects in the world? Question number two, how does the prana behave in this, how is the prana functioning in this body? What is the power behind the prana? See, we are all breathing human beings, but we never ask a question. How am I breathing? How am I thinking? How am I talking? We take it for granted that the body, sense organs have got the power in themselves. That is the wrong assumptions we are making. We have never asked a question, a deeper question. Because there is a body which is alive, and that body there is dead, a dead body, which cannot talk, which cannot think, which cannot hear, which cannot smell. And there is a body which can hear, smell, everything. How do I differentiate between the two? What is the factor which differentiates them? That is the question which the student is asking. What is the intelligence behind the eyes? What is the intelligence behind the ears? The ears are knowing sound. The eyes are able to know form and color. The eyes cannot know the sound. The ears cannot know the form and color. They have specific fields of operation. But then the force behind it, the power behind it, three things. Number one, the prana. Number two, the mind. Number three, the sense organs. These together, these three put together is called as the subtle body in Tattva Bodha. And the fourth factor is vacham. Vacham means it is the organ of action. So organ of knowledge, the jnana indriyas, organ of action, the karma indriyas, pranaha, manaha. What is the power behind all of them? That is the question of an informed student of Vedanta. Not a casual student who is going to a teacher and asking him, oh teacher, teach me Vedanta. Then the second verse of this Upanishad. This is an indirect definition. There are two definitions going to be given in Keno Upanishad. Both these definitions are very, very important definitions. You must know them very well in order to understand the real nature of each one of us. Na tatra chakshur gacchati, na vag gacchati, na manaha. The indirect definition of Atma, which is the essence behind all the bodies, is described as the ear of the ear, the eye of the eye, the speech of the speech, the prana of the prana, the mind of the mind. All this is an indirect explanation. A brilliant description of the truth. The truth, which is Atma, cannot be defined directly. No direct definition is possible. Today, I will let you know in the verse number 3 why. At the end, I will let you know why we can't use words for describing Atma. Words can be used for all our experiences through the 5 sense organs. There is no word designed to reveal something which we cannot experience through the 5 sense organs. So that is what is the teacher trying to tell us. Sense organs and the Antakarana. Words can describe what? It can describe emotions, which is not a part of the sense organs. It can visualize certain words. We can visualize what we are projecting in our mind. So what is behind the mind, behind the sense organs? There is no capacity of the word to describe such a thing. That is why we say a sparsham, a rupam, a gandham, a shabdam, a rasam. It is not, Atma is not the touch which you experience through the skin. Asparsham. Arupam. Arupam means it is not, Atma is not what you experience through your eyes, which is form and color. Agandham. Agandham means it is not something which you experience through your nose, which is the different fragrances or the sense of smell. Ashabdam. Ashabdam means what cannot be described by words and heard. It is not a sound. And the last one is arasam. It has no taste. So the world of experiences, which is cognized by the sense organs, is not Atma. The first lesson of the teacher. Okay? Na tatra chakshur gacchati, na vag gacchati, na manaha. That is the answer to the question of the student. Before this, in the second verse, Shrotrasya Shrotram Manaso Manoyat Vacho Hi Vacham Pranasya Pranaha. You should remember this. Atma is the ear of the ear. When you do the third verse, don't forget, it is the indirect definition. Ear of the ear, mind of the mind, tongue of the tongue. This is an indirect definition. Now, which we have seen last week. Today we are starting a third verse. What is this third verse? Na tatra chakshur gacchati, na vag gacchati, na manaha. So the mind does not go there, the speech does not go there, and none of the sense organs can go there. That is the first line, the meaning of the first line. Then what is the teacher's teaching? This is a second indirect definition of Atma. Na vidmaha, na vijanimaha, yatha etat anusishyat. What does the teacher say? The teacher says, we do not know this Atman. That is the second instruction given by the teacher. Yathaitat anusishya. Then the teacher says, we don't know how to teach this also. When a student comes to the teacher, he thinks that the teacher knows Atma and he can teach. Now the teacher is saying, I can't teach Atma. And I can't reveal Atma. Here, Shankaracharya writes a commentary. He says that this line of the teacher is to wake up the student, to make the student alert, to give a shock treatment to him. Come on, wake up. So when the student listens to this, immediately he thinks that, oh, that means he starts thinking in his mind about Atma more deeply. Anyadeva tat viditat atho aviditat adhi. Anyadeva tat viditat. It is distinct from the known and above the unknown. So now this is the description. It is different than the known and unknown. The moment you describe anything as different from known, what is the natural intellectual conclusion? Because the intellect always thinks in pairs of opposites. Dark, bright. Good, bad. So immediately known, immediately the teacher, that students thinks immediately, oh, it could be unknown. So this is the field of the intellect. So we must remember this is the field of the intellect to think in pairs. And the teacher is discarding this. He's saying it is not the known, it is not the unknown, but it is a distinct entity. This is a brilliant description. Very, very important for all the Vedanta students to understand. That is why this mantra is extremely important. It is different. No other Upanishad will give you such a deep and a brilliant description of Atma. Very different. Its Keno Upanishad is extremely brilliant in revelation of Atma, like Mandukya Upanishad. Straight to the point. If you understand this verse, I will explain to you a little bit more deeply towards the end, and you will get a glimpse of this Atma while you're listening the talk. Because it has to go outside the realm of experiences. We will see how. Iti sushrava purvesham enastat vyachakshire. Enastat vyacha chakshire. What does this mean? The teacher says, even though it is not possible for the words to describe this Atma or Brahman, my teacher could reveal this to me. So here the tradition of teachers is emphasized. So don't try to say that I will learn Vedanta by reading the books of Vedanta by myself. Impossible. There is an explanation which is required for understanding Vedanta. So here the teacher says, there is an ingenious methodology by which this revelation can take place. Those rishis who have taught the students in the past, they had a method. That method is called as Adhyaropa Apavada. It is a term. As we go through this Upanishad, you will understand this method more clearly. Adhyaropa means superimposition. Apavada means negation. First, you superimpose the world, all our experiences on Atma. Step number one. Then what you do? You negate the world of experiences. Step number two. And what is step number three? Atma gets revealed by itself. So by the method of superimposition on the Atma, all our experiences, and by negating the experiences by way of teaching, there are a lot of things involved in this teaching, but this is the method. I'm just giving you the method in short, in brief, so that as you learn the methodology, you will be able to pick up this entire revelation. So that is in short, the description of the third verse. The third verse is a second indirect definition of Atma. What is the indirect definition? What is the first description? What is the first indirect definition? Remember this, these two definitions are extremely important for understanding Keno Upanishad. If you understand these two indirect definitions, Atma gets revealed by itself. Contemplation, thinking about these two verses will make your mind sharp. It will make your mind focused. And you will get to the truth, which is an eternal truth in this universe. Eternal. That is why it is called as immortal. This Vidya, Atma Vidya, is immortal. It is no death. It has no birth. It is always there. So something in this universe which is always there, if I know that something, the X factor, in this X factor is the Atma. If I know that Atma distinctly, clearly, different from all the Anatma, which is my experiences, then I will be able to own up that Atma as my real nature. Owning this Atma is moksha, is the final benefit of spiritual study. Now I'll go to the description of these slides here. Atma is not known by three things: eyes, speech, mind. Eyes represent all the five sense organs, which I described to you as asparsham, arupam, agandham, ashabdam, arasam. This is a very, very famous description of Atma. Keno Upanishad talks about this. Shankaracharya writes lots of commentaries on this asparshama, rupama, gandhama, shabdama, rasa. What does this mean? It is saying it is not this, it is not this, it is not this. But what is it? Cannot be described. Because words cannot be used to describe Atma. This is the procedure, this process of knowledge is also called as Neti method. Not this, not this. It gets revealed in another Upanishad called as Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So Upanishadic study is an advanced study in spiritual science. Bhagavad Gita is one grade lower. So after you have finished Bhagavad Gita, if you come to Upanishad, you will pick up faster. Suppose you have come straight to Upanishad and you're thinking, how should I continue or not? No, don't worry. Continue the Upanishad. In your spare time, try to catch up on Bhagavad Gita study. So the second part is, it is not known by speech. This is where words come. Speech means words. Words means communication. So words have no power to hold this Atma. That means what? I can't use any of the organs of action for knowing this Atma. Mind. Atma is not known by the mind. Na tatra chakshur gachati, that is the eyes. Na vak gachati, that is the speech. Na manaha means it is the mind. It is not revealed by the mind. It is not felt like emotions, like thoughts. Thoughts and emotions are external to Atma. They are objects of Atma, but they are not Atma. The mind is Sakshi Pratyaksham. Mind is known by Sakshi or Atma. The world is Pratyaksham. It is revealed by the sense organs. Indriya Pratyaksham. So there are two worlds we are talking about. One world is the external world, which is outside the body, which is called Indriya Pratyaksham. Indriya Pratyaksham means all the five Jnana Indriyas, they are the objects of five sense organs of knowledge. Antakaranam is Sakshi Pratyaksham. Remember this. This is again technical. It is fundamental. If you know the technical side of looking at the creation, you will understand the Sakshi better. All of us are aware of our emotions. I like something. It is an emotion. I like a person. It is an emotion. I like a dish. It is an emotion. I don't want this. It is an experience of a thought. I want to go to America. That is a thought. It is an experience. It is an internal experience of Antakaranam. So all our experiences can either be or external to the body, which is Indriya Pratyaksham, or it can be Sakshi Pratyaksham, which is an experience of the mind, but it is, who is the experiencer of the mind? Atma. Very important fact. These are all fundamentals of Vedanta. You catch up this, you will understand Vedanta very easily. Okay, so this is what we have seen. distinctly different than the known and the unknown is this Atma. That is the definition of Atma. What is the indirect definition of Atma? It is different than the known and the unknown. In this verse, many people get confused. They don't understand this word completely. This whole verse is sometimes not understood properly. Try to look at the deep meaning of this verse, then you will have complete clarity of this verse. Complete clarity of this verse is realization of the Atma itself. Now I'm going to go a little bit deeper. Whenever you talk about known and unknown, we are in the field of the intellect. Certain things I know today, but certain things I don't know today. After a few years, I will come to know. So known is called as manifest. Unknown is called as unmanifest. These are the two phenomena which is there in the field of intellect. Whenever the mind is in operation, these two are functioning. Manifest, unmanifest. Whatever is before my eyes today is manifest. I see the sunrise today. I have got up from my sleep and I'm seeing it today. It is manifest. I go to sleep at night. Where is the sunrise? It is in unmanifest condition. So what is the world we are experiencing? The world we are experiencing, according to Vedanta, is manifest, unmanifest. Manifest, unmanifest. Continuously, this is happening. Whenever we say the world is experienced, we are saying in Vedanta, world is in manifest condition of the mind. Remember, it is a manifest condition of the mind. And how the mind comes into this body, that is through prarabdha karma. Okay? So you should link up, you should understand the whole clarity of the creation. And this is what has been heard from the rishis. How does the teacher say this? Teacher says, I have heard this from my teacher. I have heard this from the rishis. The rishis, how did they hear it? This one is called as apaurusheya vishayaha. It is not known, it is not coming through the mind of some rishi or something. It is heard from some external source, which we call it as apaurusheya vishaya. It is experienced in the seat of meditation by certain rishis who have heard this in their own contemplation. Atma can't be conceptualized because it is imperceptible, aprameyam. That's a word which is used in Vedanta. Imperceptible means what? Aprameyam. It is not an object of the sense organs. But does it exist or not? Yes, Atma exists. So we have to go beyond the field of the intellect. The field of the intellect is only discriminating between pairs of opposites. Something is there, something is not there. That's all. It doesn't think beyond that. But beyond that, something is existing or not, yes. That something is revealed to us by Upanishads, by Shruti. Therefore, Shruti is called as Pramanam, an instrument of knowledge. Like eyes are an instrument of knowledge, pramanam, for the form and colors. Ears are the instrument of knowledge for the sound. Similarly, Shruti, the words of the Upanishads, which is called as Shruti Vakyam, Shruti Shabdaha, is the pramanam, the source for Atma. Normally, we use Laukika Shabdaha. Laukika Shabdaha is not a pramanam for Atma. Worldly knowledge through words. We use words for all our experiences, running, walking, sleeping, dreaming, all that is worldly. So that is Laukika Shabda. We have to distinguish between Laukika Shabda and Shruti Shabda. Shruti always means it is Veda. It is normally when we say Shruti, it means Upanishads. So, the Atma or consciousness or awareness is beyond external objects, internal concepts, absence of awareness of external objects and internal. So what is this Atma? It is beyond. Beyond what? Known and unknown. What is known? Known means presence of external objects, presence of internal object concepts. What is unknown? Absence of external objects, absence of internal objects, which is called as unmanifest condition. So the I which we are talking about is beyond the seer and the seen. Why do we say seer and the seen? Seer means it is relative seer, relative seen. Atma is absolute. It is beyond the relative. Relatively, when you say I am a seer, I am an experiencer, it is relative seer, relative experiencer, relative hearer, relative smeller. Atma, when it is associated with the sense organs, becomes relative seer. So what is Atma? It is beyond the relative seer and the relative seen. The seer and seen is only when things are neither manifest or unmanifest condition. Atma is not in this field of manifest and unmanifest. See, this is a step-by-step revelation of Atma. So you have to follow slowly, your intellect has to climb the stairs of this knowledge. Na vidmaha. Teacher says, I don't know Atma. I can't teach you. I can't reveal Atma because it is not in the field of experiences or it's not in the field of the mind and intellect equipment. But there is a method to communicate Atma. And what is the method? It is an indirect method. It is the very consciousness which makes the eyes to see, the tongue to speak, the legs to walk, the hands to grasp. That is the power. There is only one power behind all this. At the individual level, first we have to understand this power. So Upanishad has got one ladder. One ladder is first to understand yourself. the self behind the body-mind complex. That is what is called as Tvam Pada Vichara. Analysis of I, the individual Adhyatmika. Then you analyze what is the whole Jagat. Tat Pada. Tat Pada means what? It is the analysis of the entire field of experiences, which we call it as Jagat. So Tat Pada Vichara, Tvam Pada Vichara, together has to be done by all the Vedantic students. And what is the revelation of the Veda? What is the essence of, what is the ultimate teaching of the Veda? It is, there is one consciousness, one existence principle, one limitless principle, Anantaha. That principle is called as Brahman at the cosmic level, Atma at the individual. And what does Mahavakya do? Mahavakya says this essence behind the individual body is the same as the essence behind the entire creation. And this essence is eternal. It is never dead. It is never born. So as a student, if I understand this from a teacher very distinctly by analyzing these first 3 verses of Keno Upanishad, again and again repeat the analysis in your own mind. Student is asking, what is the power behind the sense organs? Teacher is saying it is the eye of the eye. Then the third step is the teacher is saying it cannot be known or unknown. So it is not in the field of sense organs, it is not in the field of Antakaranam, but it is beyond. Don't say it is not there, because by saying it is not there, you are only using either your sense organs or you're using your intellect. Atma is not in the field of sense organs, not in the field of intellect and mind. Therefore, the indirect teaching or a corollary of this teaching of this verse is, in your meditation, never try to objectify Atma. This is one of the biggest blunder which we all make. Initially, when we are studying Upanishad, what happens is, my mind keeps on projecting, visualizing, Atma is like this, Atma is like this. Initially, it may be required. But when you come to Keno Upanishad, the teacher in the 3rd verse is asking the disciple, do not objectify Atma. You will never know Atma by visualizing Atma, but only know Atma by owning up. I am that substratum. I am that Brahman. I am that Ishvara, which the Upanishads are declaring. Nirguna Ishvara, not the Saguna Ishvara. Saguna Ishvara is totally different than the Jiva. When it comes to Nirguna Ishvara, Nirguna Jiva and Nirguna Ishvara are the same one single essence. That essence is called as Chaitanyam, Chit Swarupam. That essence is called as Sat Swarupam, Satyam. That Chaitanyam is called as awareness, consciousness, self-awareness, self-conscious. All these are terms Describing what? It is describing the condition of Atma when it is in relation to the world. But by itself, it is beyond the universe. With this wisdom eye, which is called as intuition, we experience this truth. The Atma, see, when you use a telescope, you see a planet, you see the moon, you see a distant object. But who is seeing through that telescope? The telescope, there is a seer behind the telescope. That seer principle is called as Atma. That is what we should realize. I am the eye of I. I am a doctor. This I means what? Consciousness. Objects are different than consciousness. I'm going to describe a little bit more in the detail what this substance, dravyam and all it means. In the end, I'll describe it to you. Atma is a divine presence without the qualities of a substance. It is not an object of the mind or intellect. It is different from the known and it is beyond the known, unknown. Aviditat adhi. Aviditat adhi means beyond the unknown. Viditat means known. So all the rishis of the past, they experience the same truth, that there is something which is beyond the sense organs and the mind intellect equipment. And that in some text it is called as intuition. Through intuition you realize this Atma, but it cannot be explained through words. So I am the seer of the body, which is an object. I am the seer who is different than the object and separate from it. For example, I see a car. Do I take myself to be a car? No. Simple. Car is different, I am different. Similarly, the body is different, I am different. All known is cognized only by indriyas or sense organs. And when we approach the Shruti, we seek its blessings. In the prayer verse, which we chant before the Upanishadic study, what we are seeking is that Shruti mother, which is teaching this Upanishad, we are seeking its blessings to bless us with this knowledge. Not reject us. Te mai santu. Let the Shruti not reject me. Let the Shruti bless me with this knowledge of Atma. Very divine. That is why this is called as divine knowledge. There is some divine power which is behind the whole universe. That divine power is basically, it is got to bless me with the Shakti, the power to understand that truth. Then we should also remember the mind works with thoughts. Whenever there are thoughts, suppose I say, I know my birth of day. It is a thought. I don't know my date of birth. Means what? I don't have any thought related to my birth. Means I am ignorant. But this knowledge and ignorance is at the intellectual level. It is about a thought being present, a thought being absent. So knower subject knows the known and the unknown. So who am I? I am something different than the known and the unknown, but I know what I know what I don't know. So who is that which knows and which also knows it doesn't know? That is Sakshi, that is Atma. That is what is revealed in this verse. Do we require a proof of existence of this knower subject? No. Because nobody can say, I don't exist. Can you say, I don't exist? Nobody can say. Nobody can say, I don't exist. All of us will say, I exist first, and then I experience. I exist, I experience. I exist, I don't experience. Iti Shushrumat Purvesham. This is how I have heard it from my Guru. My Guru has heard it from his Guru. His Guru has taught him in this way. I also can teach you in the same way. Therefore, don't feel that I don't have a methodology of teaching. I do have a methodology which has revealed this Atma to me, and that is the indirect method. So what have you seen so far? We have seen there are two categories of knowledge. One category is called as known. The second category is unknown. Known means what? Viditam in Sanskrit. Unknown means what? Aviditam. That is what the Upanishad is saying. Shankaracharya, in his commentary, he adds two more things which I am going to tell you now. The two more technical words are Vyakritam, Avyakritam. Vyakritam means manifest, Avyakritam means unmanifest. So the world is manifest in the waking state, it is manifest in the dream state. Listen to this very carefully. This is the essence of Mandukya Upanishad, verse 5 and 6. Those who have done Mandukya Upanishad, I want you to recollect that, because what I'm saying now is revealed in Mandukya Upanishad as the truth. Many of you who do not have the background of the Veda will not understand this, but even if you are hearing for the first time, take it as the truth. Have faith in the words of Upanishads. What is that faith which I should have? Upanishad is telling me that my sleep state is the cause. Karanam. It is an unmanifest condition. Okay, listen, this is a very important point revealed in Mandukya verse number 5 and 6. Sleep state, I repeat again, sleep state is Karana Avastha, Avyakrita Avastha, also given name of Maya Shakti. It is the power, it is a Shakti. I mean, there is no other word I can use. It is a power. It is the cause. Avidya, Mula Avidya. These are all the words used connected with the sleep state. Avidya means what? Ignorance. Ignorance not about the world, ignorance about the self. That is why it is called as Mula Avidya. So what is the chain of reaction now? Sleep state. You start from the sleep state and say that is the cause for the waking and the dream. All our impressions in the mind is Karana Avastha, or the causal body, Karana Prapancha, which is the causal world. It is also called as Prakriti in chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita. So, Avyakritam, Prakriti, Maya, Shakti, Sushupti, all these, they mean avidya, they all mean the same. It is synonymous. That is the Karanam. So my state in which I go to sleep is the Karanam, is the cause of the waking state. Waking state is an effect, is a product. Like gold. From gold comes ornaments. From that causal body comes the subtle body and the gross body. Karanam is the sleep state. Karyam is the waking state and the dream state. In the dream state, I experience only the impressions which are in the manifest form. In the dream state, how do I differentiate between the dream state and the sleep and the waking state? In the waking state, the sense organs are active, the organs of actions are active, the antakaranam is active, three things are active. Jnanendriyas, karmendriyas, antakaranam. That is waking state. And I experience what? My physical body. What is dream state? Dream state, I don't experience sense organs. I don't experience my organs of action. Two things gone out of three. What is remaining? Antakaranam. This antakaranam has got certain impressions because of the law of karma. So in the dream state, it is the subtle body which I experience as myself. In the waking state, I experience the physical body together with all these accessories of the subtle body, the jnanendriyas, karmendriyas, all these 19 organs put together, I experience with the physical body. So there are two experiences I'm talking about. One is physical body and the physical world, gross body, gross world. Then the second one is subtle body, subtle world. In the sleep state, what do I experience? Causal body, causal world. All the prapancha, the whole cosmos is in a seed form. That seed form is called as Avyakritam. The Sanskrit word is Avyakritam, unmanifest form. Karana avastha, karya avastha. The whole creation, I'm trying to put it in two words. Vyakritam, avyakritam. Karyam, karanam. Viditam, aviditam. Known, unknown. Can you see the depth of Shankaracharya's analysis of this verse? I have given you here only 5%. If you go through the Bhashyam of Shankaracharya, you'll get the balance 95%. My expressions, my words can only have this much power, but his expressions, can have tremendous power in your intellect. But it is all in Sanskrit. You need some translations, you need to put a lot of effort. Okay, so what is Atma now? The Upanishad clearly says it is not viditam, it is not aviditam, it is not the cause, it is not an effect. The attributes of the cause and the effect are not there in Atma. Therefore, don't criticize, I am this mind, I am this body, I am suffering. These attributes belong to the body or belong to the mind. They do not belong to Atma. I am someone different than this body and mind. The body, mind, sense organs are experienced, no doubt, but they are not Atma. What is Atma? Atma is beyond words. Words are used to describe my experiences. My experiences are in fivefold form through the five sense organs. Therefore, the rishis have said that the words can describe five things in the universe: jati, guna, kriya, dravyam, and sambandha. Okay, so what is this jati? Jati means it is a species. Human being, man, women, animal, treeness, chairness. So through the jati, a species, you can describe certain things. Second is what? Guna. Guna means attribute, properties. Yellow flower, rose flower, black dress, green tree. All these through the attributes describe an object. Atma is not a species because it is ekam, it is one. Atma is nirguna, it doesn't have any gunas. Third one, kriya. Any action can be put in words. Running, walking, lifting, action. These are all actions. So actions can be put in words. What is Atma? Nishkriyaha. It has no action. Atma does no action. It is akarta bhokta. It is nirgunaha. There is no jati. There is only one Atma. If there are many things in the world, you can have many species. But there is only one consciousness, one existence principle, one limitless principle. Therefore, words cannot be used to describe Atma. Dravyam. Dravyam means substance. Substance means made up of 5 elements. It is experienced because it is made up of 5 elements. Substance. So anything which is experienceable like a sunrise, sunset, can also be described. Dravya. The last one is sambandha. What is sambandha? Father, mother, brother, sister, doctor, he is a driver. There is a sambandha. There is a sambandha between mother and daughter. So through a relationship, Sishya and Guru, there is a sambandha. He is a Sishya, he is a Guru. She is the mother, she is the daughter. So through relationship, you can establish objects persons can be described. So words can describe jati, guna, kriya, dravya, sambandha. Can anything exist beyond these five in our experiences? Nothing can exist beyond this. It all comes under this umbrella of five. Again, this is all coming from the Upanishads. This is coming from the rishis. What is the revelation? The revelation is Atma is beyond words. In many Upanishads, you will see verses which says Atma cannot be described. Many Upanishads. Almost every Upanishad will say it cannot be described. Like Keno Upanishad says, it is not in the field of experiences, but it exists. But this description which I have given you before this, viditam aviditam, it is not in the field of mind and intellect. Whatever is not in the field of mind and intellect is beyond them. Beyond them means it is Atma. So beyond my sleep state, do I exist or not? Yes, I exist. Beyond this physical body, do I exist or not? Yes, I exist. Beyond my dream state, do I exist or not? Yes, I exist. So isn't there an eternal existence which is connected with me, which is me? Body is connected to this eternal existence. Mind is connected to this eternal existence. World is connected to this eternal existence. But I am independently existing. That independent existence is called as Atma, with reference to the individual body, with reference to the universe, it is called as Brahman. This verse is a revelation verse. It's a beautiful verse. Completely, if you understand this verse, along with verse number 1 and 2, these three verses are the most important verses of this entire Keno Upanishad. The whole Upanishad. There are many verses. There's one more verse I will let you know in the end. When it comes, I'll let you know. There's another beautiful verse which comes. It is Pratipoda Viditam, that verse. But 34 verses are there in Keno Upanishad. Out of these 34 verses, 4 verses are striking verses. Understand the depth of these verses, you have understood Keno Upanishad. One more last thing today before I conclude. In the Vedanta, this is also technical by nature, but if you understand, you see, technical doesn't mean you have to run away, it is not engineering, science or something. I will make all the technical things very simple for you to understand. So that even a simple person who doesn't have too much knowledge, they can also pick up and understand the reality behind their existence. In Vedanta, the theory of knowledge is extremely important to understand. How do I know the world? And Vedanta has a unique way of explaining how the world is experienced by us. Vedanta says there is Atman, there is pure Chaitanyam, pure light of consciousness. This is how you start. This light is eternal, always there. Like you and me, for example, we feel that I am always there. Even before the birth of the body, you feel, no, I was there. Only through word of mouth, people say you are not there because the body was not there. People see only the body. They don't see existence. They don't see Chaitanya because it cannot be known. It cannot be seen by the sense organs. So there is an existence, Sat Chit Ananda principle, which is called as the light of consciousness. It is the screen behind the movie in a TV. Screen, the canopy. What is the movie which we see? The movie which we see is either the waker's mind movie or the dreamer's mind movie. In the sleep state, it is the mind is in the sleep mode. In the waker's mind, there is a chid abhasa. I'm going step by step. Please follow this step-by-step revelation. Light of consciousness is eternal, which is my true state, which is what I am. Beyond the sleep state, beyond the waker state, beyond the dream state, I exist. That existence is eternal. I own up that pure Chaitanyam as my real nature. That is what I learned from the Keno Upanishad. I hold on to that knowledge. That is my true self. My mind does not go there immediately, but I will practice. I will practice to own up that as my real nature. In all my previous lives, I didn't have this knowledge. Mula Avidya was covering the waking state, covering the dream state, all the time in all the births. That causal body was covering this knowledge of Atma. What covers the Atma is called as Mula Vidya. The root cause of samsara. Through Keno Upanishad, I have understood, very simple, I am beyond my mind, I am beyond the sense organs, which means beyond the body. Now, once you have known that there is, okay, I have to believe this, that there is existence, Sat Chit Ananda is my Swarupam. I have to believe till I know it personally, till I experience it personally through intuition. That is what is called as Shraddha. Have the Shraddha, have the faith. Kaivalya Upanishad says very clearly, the one who has Shraddha, he will become Jnani. Because before Jnanam, he has Shraddha. After Jnanam, he is a Jnani. How does a Jiva become a Jnani? Jiva, with Shraddha, with faith in the scriptures, becomes a Jnani. Who is a Jnani? A person who has learned the Vedas. It can be male or female. It can be anybody. It can be any of any race, any caste, any religion, anybody. The moment you come to the Veda, if you have understood this existence principle, then you are a person who knows the Veda and who is liberated. How does the liberation happen? Moksha, how does it happen? By the theory of knowledge that this light of consciousness is the ultimate independent existence principle. It can exist by itself as proved by 8 hours of sleep every day. I don't experience the body, I don't experience my mind, but I am this self. Prashna Upanishad clearly says, who are you in the sleep state? You are Atma. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad clearly states, who are you in the sleep state? You are Atma. Chandogya Upanishad clearly states, who are you in the sleep state? You are Atma. All the Upanishads are proclaiming that that is your real nature. I believe in the Shastra, in the words of the scriptures, and I start this spiritual journey and I accept that that is the ultimate light of knowledge. If that is the ultimate light of knowledge which exists by itself without the world of experiences, how do I experience this waking world and the dream world? Can you explain to me? Vedanta says, this light of consciousness is the life principle. It activates your mind and the pranas. There is the power. It has the power. Don't doubt this power of consciousness. The consciousness has the power to wake you up every day as per the law of karma. Your mind will wake up, it will experience the world through the five sense organs. So what is the electricity principle behind the mind or the sense organs? The electricity principle is the power of consciousness. That light through the five apertures in the body, which is the jnana indriyam, gets the knowledge of the world, of objects, sense objects. What is Jagat? What is the world? It is nothing but it is the sense objects which are experienced by the senses. That is what is Jagat. And what is the power behind the sense organs? Mind. Antakaranam. Only one power. All the perceptions of the world are coming into the mind through the vritti form, through the mode. The process of knowledge is through the thought mode. So through the thoughts, all the sense objects, they can come in front of the mind, and then I say I experience a car, a tree, a sunrise, whatever it is. Eyes give form and color, the ears, this gives sound, tongue gives the taste, nose gives the smell, the skin gives the touch. So what is this whole world we are talking about? It is a world of sense objects interacting with the sense organs. That is what Bhagavad Gita says. The interaction between the sense organs and the sense objects is vyavahara, is transaction, is experience. So all this which we call as experience, my experience, I have a special experience of dukkham. Ultimately what it is only thought form. This is how Vedanta explains it. You have to first accept this as the truth, and then intuitively you will understand it is the truth. The whole world, Jagat, is in the mind of a person. How do I understand this? Is through this theory of knowledge, which is described beautifully in Dakshinamurti Stotram, Nana Chit Kato Darastitamaha Deepak Prabha Bhaswaram. This chart is but an explanation of the verse of one verse of Dakshinamurti Stotram. And all students of Vedanta must know this background of the theory of knowledge. So this third verse, you can see I have explained to you in a very big detail about why words can't be used, what are the different categories of experiences we have, the known category, the unknown category, How does the known category become known? Through the vrittis, through the thoughts in the mind. But beyond these thoughts and the field of the thoughts, there is a light of consciousness. That light of consciousness is Atma. Na tatra chakshur gachati, the eye doesn't go there. Na vag gachati, the speech cannot go there. Na manaha, the mind cannot go there, because it is the power behind the vag, it is the power behind the mind, it is the power behind the eyes or the sense organs. If the light which is coming out from a flashlight and it is in a dark room wants to know the battery, the brand of the battery, can it ever know? No, it can never know. The moment you remove the battery to see, you can't see it because it's a dark room. There's no light. You can't see because the light is gone. Because the battery is, if you remove the battery, what happens? To see, you can't see. Similarly, if you remove Atma from the whole creation, it becomes a zero. But can the sense organ see the battery? Can the light of sense organs see the battery, the power behind the light of the flashlight? No, it cannot. So that is what the teacher is explaining. You can never know or experience Atma as an object, but you can experience it as the subject. That is what is going to be said in the 4th, 5th, and 6th mantras. So, objectification must be dropped is the ultimate message of this verse. Objectification tendency is a natural tendency of the human mind. When the human mind intellect equipment hears these words, immediately it forms a conception. It exists, it doesn't exist. It is there, it is not there. It is known, it is not known. But you have to drop that tendency and say, Atma exists. In the light of Atma, the mind experiences the world. The mind does not experience the world. Experiencing is called as manifestation. Not experiencing the world is called as unmanifest. But Atma is beyond manifest and unmanifest. It is pure existence. Don't forget, pure existence means without the body, mind, and the world. It independently can exist, and it is eternal existence. That is why it is called as Anantam. Sat Chit Ananda. Ananda means Anantam, limitlessness. Okay, so we have finished the 3rd verse. I've taken one long session today. Review this. It is a realization verse. Remember, first 3 verses is the essence of the entire Keno Upanishad, consisting of 34 verses. If you have understood these 3 verses, the rest of the Upanishad is easy. Okay. With this, I close today's session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So we have finished today's session. If there's anything in the chat box, I will take it up now. There is nothing in the chat box. So in case you have any questions in today's talk, you can unmute yourself. So all of you can unmute. And then you can ask me. Yeah, does anybody have any question? Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, actually you were saying there are 4 states. So awakened state is experienced by awakened self when we are awake physical body. Another state, that is dream state, is experienced by mind. So is that that is the sushupti avastha, is that experienced by our atma?
Oh, good question. So Tomar is asking this question: is Atma experiencing the waking state and the dream state? Correct? Now, Atma is a common factor which is there in all the states. It is there in the sleep state, it is there in the dream state, it is there in the waking state. Atma is the light. Like you have a dark room. In a dark room, without the light, you cannot see the things in the dark room. So similarly, in the world you think, you should imagine that the world is a dark room of ignorance. In this dark room of ignorance, in the sleep state, what do you experience? You experience ignorance, ajnanam. That is why we say this world is a dark room of ignorance. So Atma is there. Atma is the light of consciousness. So what will you say? This light of consciousness must be illumining something in the sleep state. In the sleep state, Atma is illumining the ignorance, ajnanam. This ajnanam is not the ajnanam of the waking world. It is not the ajnanam of the dream world. It is that plus the ajnanam, means ignorance about Atma. Ignorance about Atma is called as Mula Avidya. So when you wake up in the morning, all of us will say, I had a good sleep. Now, there must be an experiencer of the sleep state. Without that experiencer, nobody can recollect that he had a good sleep or she had a good sleep. So in the sleep state, there is a witness of the sleep state. That witness is called as Atma. Witness. It is not experiencing anything at that state. In the waking state, it is a witness of the waking body, mind, and the world. Witness is not going anywhere. Witness is always there. In the dream state, what happens? The witness is still there. Atma is still there. Atma is experiencing only the mind, the world of the mind, projected by the mind. In the waking state, it experiences everything. It experiences the world of the sense organs. It experiences the world, internal world of your own emotions, thoughts, imaginations, visualizations. For example, you are sitting, you're thinking about your future. How will I be after 10 years? How will my children be? Or what will happen to all my possessions? Now, this is what you're creating, a world of your own internal world. This world is created by your mind. I am not able to see your mind, but you are able to see your mind. So behind your mind, there is a consciousness principle. This consciousness, the Atma, is the spiritual light. The spiritual light can know experiences with the mind, experiences without the mind. That is why it is called a spiritual light. The material light is the sunlight. It can give you darkness, it can give you brightness of the earth. But that is material light. There is a difference between material light and the spiritual light. Behind the sun's light also, the Atma is still there. Through this Atma going out through the mind, then only you can see the sun. So, to your question, is the Atma there in the sleep state? Yes. Always it is there, not only in the sleep state, it is there before the birth of the body. It will be there after the death of the physical body. That is why you come to Vedanta to understand, who am I? When you get this knowledge, when your intellect comes to realize and knows this knowledge and is able to hold on to this knowledge for a certain period of time, this knowledge will go into your subconscious mind. When it goes to your subconscious mind, you can get that knowledge anytime when you invoke that knowledge. A lot of people tell me that I get this knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads suddenly when I'm facing difficulties in my life. When I'm facing acute condition in my body or outside in the world, there are some difficulties, challenges. This knowledge of Atma comes up suddenly. I should not get worried about anything. This is a passing phase. It will go away. So that is the benefit of this study. I'm very glad you asked this question. It shows that you have a very deep penetrating mind. Very good. Is it clear? Okay. Okay, then Sushupti state as well. Okay, that's clear. I've clarified that. If yes, then what is there in the Turiya state? Okay. Turiya state is a state of existence. Pure existence without the body, mind, and the world. This state of existence is called as Swarupa Avastha. Swarupa, it is my nature. It is not an experiential state, but it is my natural state. Experience is always related to the Triputi. Triputi means mind as the subject, world as an object, the sense organs as the instrument. So experience, the word experience in English or anubhava in Sanskrit means the mind is awakened, the sense organs are awakened, and they are interacting with the world. Why does this interaction happen? Why does the mind wake up? Because of the law of karma. All the things which I taught in the other session on my Wednesday, other sessions about the law of karma. Tattva Bodha, I have explained all this. Sanchita karma, Agamika. Whenever you're trying to analyze the world, it is the world of experiences you are analyzing. It is all anatma. It is not atma. Atma Turiyam. Turiyam, another word for Atma is Turiyam. Turiyam means what? It is the fourth. But fourth means what? It is always there. It is eternally there in all the three. It is the common factor in all the avasthas. Many people don't understand this. They just listen to some Mandukya 1 or 2 lectures, they get confused. So always remember, Turiyam means it is a natural state of Atma, which is permanently there. It is beyond time. That is why you can boldly say, nothing in the world affects me, the Atma. All of you, each one of you can boldly tell yourself and to the whole world. If you tell the world, they won't believe it. Because you are referring to something deep within you, deep within the creation itself, which others will not understand. But you will understand it because you have gone through the process of this Vedantic study. Okay, very good. I'm glad you have asked this question. Anybody else has any other questions? Shanmugam, can you unmute everybody so that they can... You can unmute yourself and you can speak up.
Namaste, Shakaji. It's Bharat here. Hello. I just wanted to. This was a brilliant lecture, by the way. Absolutely, absolutely brilliant.
I added up a few portions towards the end myself before I spoke, because I was listening to Shankaracharya's commentary on this verse, and it is brilliant. It is really brilliant.
I will have to look it up. I just wanted to continue with what you were just speaking about. We're learning Vedanta in the waking state. So we're learning Vedanta in the waking state.
Yes.
So now as a waker, I can say my deep sleep. I use my deep sleep experience to know myself as Atma, because the Upanishads are telling me that. We just learned Atma is beyond the known and unknown.
Yes.
So when my mind is active, trying to make a decision, everything still continues. Correct. And everything is only continuing if you are not the mind. So it's like when you use Google is busy trying to find what you search for. It doesn't mean that your existence stops. Just like that, when the mind is active, you continue. And this is where all the senses are coming in, because you are that which is cognizing both of that which is known and unknown in the mind. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm making myself very clear.
You're absolutely right. You're making sense. The only thing is you are keeping Atma as the central focal point, and you are making everything else known.
Correct. So ultimately, even in Google, computation, what have you, everything is connected. Like, I won't go into details of computer technology, but everything ultimately is only one. There is only that one existence.
That's
so
correct.
even when you're sleeping, to notice that you are to say that there is a blankness, which you say in the waking state. I can't explain it, but you can only say that if there's that unity. What you're experiencing has to be related to you, otherwise you would never experience it in the first place. You would only know your own existence.
Yes.
So in that sense, I'm trying to highlight that Atma is not like Sakshi, witness, or seer in the scene. It's actually indicating unity. Like you said, I can't explain it with words.
That's correct. You see, it is indicating unity in this whole cosmos. That is why it is called as Advaitam. See, the word Advaitam, which comes in the 7th mantra of Mandukya Upanishad, is a very beautiful Sanskrit word. Advaitam means it is non-dual. That means everything is coming out from there and it is manifesting out and getting into unmanifest condition in Atma. And whatever experiences we have, that is why it is called as Mithya Prapancha. It is an apparent existence, but Atma is absolute existence. It is one, non-dual, ekatva Atma. There is no duality in it. That is why Mandukya Upanishad in the Karikas, if you go a little bit deeper into Mandukya Upanishad Karikas, there a lot of verses are taken where this non-dual nature of the world is proved by Gaudapadacharya. And he says that that is ultimate truth. If you want to know the truth, you come to Mandukya Upanishad, you will learn that there is only one existence principle. Everything else is an apparent existence. It is like a chaya. It comes, it goes. Atma, in the light of Atma, this whole three states are floating. Just comes, goes, comes, goes. That is the creation. That is how the Lord has made this creation. So we are discovering the nature of creation with the help of Veda. It's so deep. You can understand creation beautifully if you understand the Veda. Science has got a limitation because science is in the field of pratyaksham, anumana, arthapatti. All these are connected with objective world. Science has no entrance to the subjective world of Atma. No entrance. Even after 200 years, 500 years, 1,000 years, science can never come to the level of Atma. It can study artificial intelligence. It can study and go how to operate in certain environments, so many different things, but it cannot go behind. It's like knowing that battery, know that example of the battery. The light wants to know, the flashlight wants to know the battery, the brand of the battery inside. Cannot. This example is given by Swami Chinmayananda in his Gita talks and his Upanishadic talks. So
I was reading a book called by Carlo Rovelli about the nature of time. He's a theoretical physicist, and he shows how our nature, our understanding of time is actually based on entropy. And the entropy is actually linked to our level of ignorance. And he then went on to talk about all his theories. But whilst reading the book, he didn't.
When he says ignorance, he's talking about Mula Vidya only.
Correct. He didn't take it a step further and talk about the subject who's aware of the ignorance.
That's correct. That you can come only to Vedanta and learn.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Bharat. Very deep analysis you have done here. I'm glad it shows the quality of your mind. Well done. Very good. Anybody else has a question? Okay, if there are no questions, then we'll. Is there anything in the chat box? Can we conclude Jagrat Avastha is equal to body, mind, and soul? Swapna Avastha is equal to mind and soul. Sushupti Avastha is the soul. Turiya Avastha is natural state of, yes, more or less you're right. The only thing is you should define what is soul. Soul is reflected consciousness. And what is Turiya Avastha? Original consciousness. That is the only distinction you should make here. Otherwise, your analysis is correct. I think, I don't know whether you have done, Tomar, I don't know whether you have done Mandukya Upanishad, but all these questions are beautifully analyzed and answered in Mandukya Upanishad. Wait for some time, we will be doing that Upanishad. All these questions will get answered. Anyway, you are on the right track. Thank you. And we'll catch up next week with the fourth verse of Keno Upanishad. After this, the Upanishad becomes a little bit more simpler, and we can go a little bit faster. Thank you and good night.